And that goes, and that includes the identification. You've got everything but flags. I'm not sure some of you don't have flags. I know you have insignias, sweaters, colors, and all of us who've been through the major cities of America today have seen the graffiti, which not always, but often is the responsibility of members of street gangs. What's important about this is that there is an alarming increase in violence associated with this activity. In fact, in the city of Chicago, this year alone, there have been 41 gang-related murders. Now, the young people are killing each other, and I hope that we are able in this program, we're not going to attempt to redress all grievances and necessarily cover everything, but this is just sort of I hope this will at least be understood as an attempt on our part to raise consciousness regarding this kind of activity. We have on our show present and former members of street gangs, and we also have residents of a neighborhood which finds itself the location of this kind of activity. The neighborhood about which we will be concentrating on this program is in the north side of Chicago. For those of you who watch us around the country who may or may not be familiar with our city, it's generally in the area of Wrigley Field. The area is along the lake. Can we say, Ken Goldberg, you're working with these folks. Along the lake would be the high-rise apartment buildings that are often occupied by upper and upper middle class people, huh? Mostly white? Okay. As we move back from here's the various street shots of the area. As we move back from the high-rises, the neighborhoods become a mixture of Latino and white. Okay. Also in our audience today are the people who live in this neighborhood, people who are, there's just a collection of young people in the playground, and we'll talk about the, as you can see, the homes are various. Can I ask you just to stand with me just a moment? You're a resident of the area.
Yes, I am.
Do you think we understand what's going on here? And I know the pressure's on, and I know that there's no real yes or no answer to this thing, but I'd be grateful for just if you would share with us your feelings about media's treatment of this and your own feelings about it.
I feel that there really isn't anything being done. There's many, many meetings about what can be done, what should be done, what will be done, but not what is being done. There is no money going into places where street gangs can congregate. There's no places where they can go except sitting on front porches and with their drugs and stuff.
You look out the window and you see what?
I see kids sitting on their porches doing drugs. I see kids going in and out of the house at all hours of the night. I see firecrackers. I see...
What age are we talking?
17, 18, 19.
Mm-hmm. How do you explain it?
I feel that there isn't any interest on the part of enough neighbors. There's 3 and 4 people that go to meetings every now and then, but there's not a combined effort.
Suppose there was an effort. Suppose in this neighborhood that we're looking at here, there was an effort. What could you really, can we expect in the 70s young people to give any sort of authority or credibility to adults, however well-meaning?
I feel that if they had something to do, like instead of going around and spray painting things, they could help poor people that can't afford it. They could be paid for cleaning up property. They could be paid for doing constructive things instead of, being downtrodden for sitting and hanging around.
Thank you very much, and I hope you'll stay with me for the rest of the show. I need your help. There are other residents here of the Buttons LVCC Lakeview Citizens Council, an effort on the part of the neighbors to keep their neighborhood safe and a place where they want to raise their children without fear of violence, drugs, and all the bad things that parents worry about. Patty, you're a former gang member.
Yes.
True? You're not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, how old are you, Patty Marianne?
21.
When did you first join a gang?
I was 14, 15.
And do you remember why?
Well, I was very bored, not doing anything, just staying home. I wasn't into any hobbies. And I just, was getting into drinking and smoking pot, and everybody else was doing it, and we just, got together with other gangs, and we became gang members.
Yeah. Are girls as enthusiastic about participating in gang activities as the boys are?
No, not really.
So you were...
Most of them are, but not.
In other words, there are more boys in the gang than girls.
There's more boys than girls.
Right. What gang were you in?
I was in the Harrison gang.
The Harrison what?
Gents.
So the Harrison gents admitted all people, ERA or not.
Yeah,
You've got
right.
the boys and the girls.
Right.
You really had some close calls, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Tell me, just without making it a big...
Well, when I used to wear my sweater or my gent T-shirt, you know, if I'd be walking in a different neighborhood where I don't belong, you know, they either jump me or they'll chase me or they'll shoot at me or, you know, they'll throw bottles at me or whatever, you know. They just don't like me in the neighborhood, you know, because that's a different turf or a different neighborhood where gangs are. You know, it could be Latin Eagles that I'm walking through, or it could be the PR Stones that I might be walking their territory and they just don't like them.
PR Stones, Puerto Rican Stones.
Right.
This is an example of a gang sweater and insignia or emblem. The emblem is apparently the product of the same people who make high school letters. And in fact, it's a very professionally done piece of work. And as a matter of fact, it's expensive. How much is it?
Altogether?
Yeah.
About $75.
$75 for the sweater and the emblem?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you understand the frustration of the police who attempt to work the area? Just the presence of these colors and this insignia can create a riot, if not a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got the Constitution up against the police effort to keep law and order. The cops are quite rightly down on the idea of smart, tough kids walking around with colors on, saying in effect, "Don't tread on me." That's asking for a fight, right?
Yeah.
Like holding the flag. Like what?
Holding the flag.
Yeah. Sal, how old are you?
21.
You're in a wheelchair. You're paralyzed from the waist down. The doctors have said you're not going to be able to walk, or what's the story?
Well, I'll be able to walk on braces. That's about it.
You got to work up to that, though. You're not there yet.
Not there yet.
What happened?
I was standing in a corner coming out of the store.
I'm sorry?
I was coming out of the store and this corner we hang
Excuse me,
around.
but how long ago was this?
5 years ago.
You were 15 years old?
Right.
Okay. You're coming out of a corner store.
And I was with friends of mine. And it was about 9 o'clock at night.
Did you have any colors on, or?
No, I just had a Marine Army color.
Okay, you were a member of a gang, however, at that time. What was the gang?
Latin Eagle.
The what?
Latin Eagle.
The Latin Eagle. Okay.
Well, I was coming out of the store and we were talking there for a while. And all of a sudden it was gunshots and I caught the first shot. And I went down and my friends, they all freaked out. They picked me up, took me to the hospital. And I think I got shot for no reason though.
You don't think your assailant knew you were a Latin Eagle and it was a marked hit?
Yeah.
You do think you were?
I think I was a hit, yeah.
In other words, they knew who they were shooting at.
Of course.
So they were mad not so much at you as they were it was a gang thing, huh?
Right.
16 years old. You took the bullet in the neck, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it apparently traveled, the trajectory must have been unusual because it went down and hit your...
It traveled through my spine and it's in my lung right now.
The doctors have decided not to remove it.
Right, so they don't want to do lung surgery on me or anything.
How are you doing emotionally? I mean,
All right.
you get down, you get depressed?
At times, yeah, but I just get over that though. Like doing other things, I go out more.
Yeah. Were you a wise guy, Sal? I mean, were you...
Well,
I don't mean that in the, all of us, adolescent behavior. I'm not trying to I don't want you to tell us you're a bad guy, because I don't think you are. I guess I want to know what kind of personality you were when you were 16, before you took this bullet.
well, if a guy came up to me and started, bad-mouthing me, I would bad-mouth him back or something.
Yeah. You weren't scared of anybody, so to speak.
Right.
What do you think now? I mean, you look back, you had a little time to think about this. You've been in the hospital. I see you had a trach, yeah. So they obviously they had to work overtime to pull you through this thing.
Yeah, it's because my lungs collapsed.
Yeah. So where are we now? Where's your head now? How do you feel? Here we are trying to figure this out, huh?
I'm against it. Now I'm against it. At the time, I was really into it at the time. I don't know why, but I gotta get down with it.
Scott? Patty, you're a Latino?
Yeah.
And Sal is Latino?
Right.
You're a white, Caucasian, Anglo, however, I know what your words is. White, yeah. So obviously, the gang participation, at least in this neighborhood, is not a racial thing. It's,
That's not racial whatsoever.
yeah. And you're how old, Scott?
19.
19? You're going to walk away from this kind of thing? You're 19 with tattoos. Boy, if you were mine, I'd... You know how ugly that looks?
I'm going to get it covered up pretty soon.
You're going to get it? You're going to have something done about it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't want to be smart and, Mr. Know-it-all, big-shot older man trying to tell the young kid what to do, but we're trying to learn, Scott. We're trying to figure out. This is no good. Kids are killing kids. Latinos killing Latinos. Black on black. Youth on youth. No good. Bad. Out. We don't want any more. We don't expect you to come in here and tell us the answer to everything, but we hope you can give us some information to help us diminish this, at least to reduce this. Were you an eyewitness to, what was the last shooting? Or somebody, you were telling me somebody coming out of a bar. What's that story?
Yeah, one of my...
You don't have to name names. Just
I know one of my ex-gang members, he had a hassle before at this party, and then after that, I thought it was over with.
What do you mean a hassle? What's a hassle? Somebody mouth off? What?
Yeah, somebody mouthed off, and then one dude got into a fight with another dude, and then our club...
Now, one dude got in a fight with another dude. Were the dudes members of separate gangs?
Yes, they were.
What were they doing at the same party? Isn't that asking for it?
No, see, we were invited there, and then they just came up in there.
Oh, I see. You were all, as one member of a gang, sort of at a social occasion, huh?
And then a lot of other dudes came, and they tried to, take over the party.
I see.
And then one dude called one dude out, and they started, jamming it out. And then the Eagle, he got tore up. So then the Stone...
No guns, just fists.
Yeah, just fists right there.
So one of the Eagles, a Latin Eagle?
Yeah, it got totally demolished, by fists.
Yes.
And then the Stones went to the bar, to have a couple drinks. And then about...
The Stones?
Yeah.
The other gang?
Yeah.
The Stones were the ones that beat up the Eagle?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Stones then go to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it.
And then about 10, 12 Eagles came back. And then the first Stone that ran out, he ran out with a Bacardi bottle. We hit one of the Eagles in the head with it. And then after that, the Eagles pulled out a gun, shot him in the neck, and then he died, and shot this innocent victim right between the eyes, and he died.
Mm-hmm. Ken, your attempt is to retain credibility with the gang members, with the cops. You're kind of the guy in the middle. I guess you wouldn't mind if I called you a do-gooder, would you? All right. Let me call you a do-gooder. You don't have to. You know what I mean. I'm just trying to establish you're a guy trying to... You're foursquare against violence, too, and you want to diminish this, and so... Give me your speech. What do you say to the folks, if you were asked to speak to the Elks Club in the suburbs, what would you tell them?
Well, there's a whole lot happening, and what the kids are bringing out is that there's a way of dealing with it in the streets that they've come to know, and they accept this. All right, now what I would try to do and what I try to convey to community groups or anybody that talks to me about it, including the kids, is there's got to be another way to deal with it. Part of the problem is that there's not sufficient opportunity, educational and job opportunities for the kids, so we try to make the neighbors and the city aware of the conditions so that something is done, some money is pumped in to create opportunities, and then it's a matter of going back to the kids themselves and getting them to buy into the opportunities and saying that this is something they want to take advantage of, this is something that will help them, and, if they can get into it, maybe pull them away from the gang, give them something more constructive to do. And that's a lot of time spent convincing people that they need opportunities for the kids, and then to convince the kids to take advantage of the opportunities. And once you get into the street scene and you begin to move away from the mainstream, you turn your back on some of the chances that may come up. So somebody's needed out there to kind of sometimes even hold hands goes that far to, take you there.
If we're down to colors and letters on the wall and insignias and, and snakes and cobras and this is who I am, we're really talking about identity here, who these young people are. Isn't macho and swaggering around a lot of this?
Macho is a big problem.
Tell me.
Sure. Well, if you could eliminate macho, and if you could eliminate some of the parts of the system that create the conditions, you'd probably eliminate the problem over a period of generations. I think the whole problem would go away. That's why you say macho, somebody wants to prove their manhood, they want to go out and assert themselves, let the world know, hey, I'm somebody. Even when you get to putting your name up on a wall, it's your one crack at fame, maybe. You drive down the expressway, you see somebody's name on a billboard that's been graffitied or on the side of a viaduct, That may be their only chance of ever being seen outside their neighborhood. And they may never see that because they don't have a car and they're never going to drive down the expressway. You know, it's their way of letting somebody know they're there.
Is it realistic, though, to expect us to, given the widespread nature of this social phenomenon, is it realistic for anybody, however well motivated, to really do anything about this? And can we channel this kind of unity or interest in organization toward a good, positive goal?
It's been done successfully before, with other gangs in other cities as well as in Chicago. And what are your options if you don't deal with it, if you don't pump some social services into the neighborhood, if you leave it to law enforcement? My own vision is that it becomes a war. It becomes a war of society and its law enforcement officials against the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really have any option but to try. We don't have statistics and stuff to back up, say that this is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, youth workers will solve the problem, or jobs will solve the problem, but you don't have anything to say it doesn't, and you don't have any other alternative.
Are gang members usually armed? I mean, what, the availability of guns, what can you tell me about that?
Anytime, any place you can get them.
Patty?
You can.
Did you used to pack one? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
You did. You carried a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You carried a gun because the cops were less likely to frisk you than the boys.
Right. At that time, the police officers had no right of touching women at that time. But now it's the law now that women have, the police women have the right to touch the women.
About how many of your friends have been killed?
Many? It's been a lot.
4?
No, it's been more than that. Over the years that I've been in the gang,
6?
maybe about close to 10.
Any of them girls?
Yeah. One was Leslie from the Latin Queens on the west side.
How'd she get killed?
She got shot standing on the corner. They knew that she was a gang member and they shot her.
The issue is street gangs and related violence, and we're going to talk with neighbors in whose residents in whose neighborhoods this activity is taking place. We're going to try and find out what's going on in the hope that just maybe a little bit of consciousness will be raised and perhaps would save a life or two. We hope you'll join us. From Chicago, you're now in touch with Donahue. Today, Donahue examines the problems of youth street gangs.